Hi, hi. Hi, Fallon. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to close my door here. So excited to see people. Hi, Boo. How are you? Oh my gosh, I didn't get to see your face yesterday. So nice to see your face now. How have you been?
I've been good, busy.
Oh, I know how that is. All right. Amazing. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you came yesterday and that I can see you today. You could totally leave your camera on or off. It is streaming to the Facebook as well already. So hi if you're on Facebook. But I'm so happy to like do hot seat coaching. If you have any questions or anything like that, and you're okay. Like I'm happy to do that. If you want to jump right into that, we can do that, or you can wait. It's up to you. Do you have any questions or anything for me that you want to get maybe some guidance on?
I do. I'm looking at the workbook that you sent over, but I don't see like the sheet that you showed yesterday. I don't see that in the workbook that you sent over.
Ooh, which sheet? I
You
have so
posted
many.
you posted something yesterday for us to
You
go
didn't
over.
notice it? Okay, let me share what I
Something
have
in the
right
workbook.
now.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a great first question because if you're having that issue, maybe somebody else is. So I love that you asked. All right, so last night I actually sent an updated version as well. So I don't know if maybe this is a new one. Maybe it was missing something yesterday. So this is the whole workbook. If you're on the list for this, then you should have gotten this. If you didn't get this, then let me know.
Okay.
Let me make it bigger so everybody can see. So it should look like that on the front. And then this is part one. This is day one. So this is the operator to CEO. Define your CEO pay number. Part two, homework. Share for accountability. Those are the action steps. And then the day one complete, which you can screenshot and pop into the group. And then this is day two. And so this is today. So this stuff is all new. I don't know if this is what you're talking about.
Yes, I was talking about that, but I was looking
Ah,
at something else, the Heart Center CEO blueprint. Okay, that's
oh,
right.
okay. So you have
Okay.
that one too now, right? Oh, you
hmm
were looking at a whole different one. Okay, all right. You made me nervous. And I'm like, what did I not send out? All right.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much, Fallon.
hmm
Yeah. So this is, and I literally just added this part. So I'm actually going to send this over to you right now. I can actually copy and paste this so you have a copy of it. So you have the fresh copy for today. Okay. Here we go. Popping that into the chat. Now I'm not in the group. If anyone's in the group, I'm going to try to pop this in the group. I don't know if it's going to mess me up. Like I'm live stream. I'm doing it like 10 things at once. So sometimes when you're live streaming, sometimes some things like get a little bit wonky, but I'm in. Okay, I can see this. Oh, look at that. Okay. Oh, I see the pinned comment. Oh, I see. I see why. All right. This is the worksheet for today. For today, for this challenge. All right, there we go. All right, so it's not pinned, but it's there. I see somebody else just joined us. So glad to have everybody. I am going to start jumping right in. Always nice to see everyone, though. Thank you so much for joining me live, people. If you can, just drop in the chat like your name, where you're from. Well, your name is already up there, but where you're from, where you're at in the world right now, and your business. I think that's a good one. If you're joining me now, like drop in what your business is, because I feel like I've taught people how to start micro schools, but a lot of people are doing other businesses as well now, or they've kind of grown their business and now they're adding things. So I'd love to hear what your offers are or what your business is. It would be excellent. All right. Let's take a look and see. All right. I have that going. I have that. Hey, Heather. Hi, my love. All right. So we are in it. All right. This is so cool. It's always so cool, like watching people watch the live. Like, this is so awesome that I can stream at the same time. It saves my life because some people just can't get into the Zoom for whatever reason. So it's so cool to see people. But thank you guys so much for joining me live. I am going to start jumping right into the lesson. I just want to make sure I have everything so you can see everything. And we'll start getting started. Yeah, drop in the chat what your business is, what you're working on now. And I'm always happy to do some hot seat coaching or some guidance if anyone's looking for it. Hi, Terry Ann. I'm so glad you're here. I'm going to pin myself so that everybody can see me. And then, all right, I think that's good. And then I have, let's share this tab instead. All righty. So give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen and if you can see the presentation, because that's going to give you, that's going to make sure that everybody is on the same page as me. Can everybody see the presentation? You could just give me a thumbs up. I'm actually looking. Thank you so much, Fallon. Awesome. All right. Awesome. All right. So that's working. Beautiful. I love it when technology works. Yesterday, I almost started, I was like 20 minutes early, 30 minutes early. My internet was down and I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot have my internet be down right now. This is like the worst moment for it. But it started working. So I'm glad technology is working for us today. So either way, today we're talking about breaking the six-figure ceiling challenge. This is a challenge I've been doing. We started yesterday. If you didn't get to watch it yesterday, there are replays available in the Microschool CEO group. But basically, it's called the Break the Six-Figure Ceiling Challenge. A lot of times what ended up happening is I started teaching people how to open microschools. They get to about six figures and then stay stuck, and they stay stuck in operator mode, which means like they are trying to do everything still. So this program or this system that I'm talking about for the rest of the week is really about kind of being able to step out of that or being able to add income streams so that you don't have to be in it every single day. So these are systems and frameworks for freedom. All right. All right. Today, we're going to explore how effective systems can transform your business. All right. So, some of the things I've learned along the way is like having certain frameworks. And a lot of times I didn't even realize I had these frameworks. They just kind of like back from my homeschooling days or back from being a stay-at-home parent, I developed a lot of systems as well. And then opening a business and really not knowing anything about business, I just started developing these frameworks that just made my life easier and made it much easier for me to scale as quickly as we did. So today we're going to focus on that and your vision for it and your growth. All right. And if you are coming into the live, please go ahead and drop in the chat where you're from. And also today, I would love to hear what your business model is. So who's working in education still, who still has a microschool, who's growing their microschool, who's maybe added curriculum, who's maybe added like podcasting or content to that. And just thinking about ways that we can scale those things is going to be cool for me to look at. So thank you for joining me. All right. So understanding I got somebody else who just popped up in the chat. All right, hold on one second. All right, I think I got two. Hi, Terry. All right, let's see who else is in the waiting room. All right, beautiful, beautiful. All right, awesome, awesome, awesome. We are back at it. We are on the presentation. We are on understanding the importance of systems. So systems used to be boring for me. And then I started recognizing I was using systems in a way that was not really, were not really benefiting me. So these are some of the things that I just had to kind of get used to, and having effective systems have really changed my life. So I love to talk about systems. It's kind of the boring part of it. Like I love to talk about money, but without systems, like you can make money, but you will stay stuck in plateauing at a certain point if you don't put systems in place. So understand the importance of systems. So effective systems enhance predictability and efficiency in your business, allowing you to focus on scaling and achieving your mission without unnecessary distractions. Distractions are going to happen, but when we have systems in place, it makes those distractions that do come up a lot easier to get to because your systems have freed up all your time. Real world time saving examples. Discover proven systems. So today we're going to talk about the system I use to allow entrepreneurs to reclaim 5 hours a week of their time. And I'm also going to give you some bonus ones because some of you probably already do one of the systems I'm going to talk about today, but I'm going to talk about some bonus ones as well. Creating your own systems. So today you're going to actually create your own system. And I actually come like ready to work. Some of you may not. Some of you may be listening to me in the background. That's totally fine. I get how life is. But I do give a workbook. If you can't do it during class, then please do it after class because this stuff is really, really valuable. I put a lot of money into kind of like adding coaching and masterminds and things like that to my own kind of mindset so that I can share this information with you. So please take this knowledge and use it. All right. Creating your own system. Identify key areas for improvement in your own workflows. Utilize the scale framework for systematic design, and start with small changes for big impact. All right. So I told everyone I'm reading Atomic Habits right now. Atomic Habits is great at just kind of reminding me that I like to do, because I like systems and because I'm a big picture thinker, sometimes I get bogged down. And if you get bogged down too, go ahead and pop bogged down into the chat. If you are like, I want to do all the things at once with a system, it makes it a lot easier for you to remember you're taking it one step at a time. All right. So today we're going to talk a little bit about that too. And sometimes it's just 1% better every day is a big thing for me right now. So, all right. actually Aisha, who I don't know if she's in the chat already, but she's the one that told me about Atomic Habits. And when I started reading Atomic Habits, when I first looked at it, I was like, I'm too burned out to even think about it. But now that I'm reading it now, I'm like, oh, I get it. This is actually like, it really is not trying to tell you to do everything at once. It's really trying to tell you how to do everything kind of 1% better every day so that you can consistently get somewhere. If I do 1% better every single day in 365 days, that's 365% better, basically, right? All right. So if you're watching me live in the Facebook group, thank you so much for being here. If you're in the actual Zoom room, thank you so much for being here as well. Hi, Allinson. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for jumping in. All right. So we are on CEO vision, mission, and money. Aligning your financial goals with your purpose is, of course, super, super important. You're going to hear me talk about money a lot. I sometimes feel like I don't like talking about money in the sense of like, greed. I want us to kind of remove the fact that I'm talking about money and think, oh my gosh, like she talks about money all the time. Like there's like, it's a whole different, I talk about money because I want freedom. I want freedom for everybody that I work with. I want you guys to have wealth. I want you to have access. I want you to be able to give money back. I want you to be able to do all these amazing things that as heart-centered CEOs, I know you want to do. And because of the world that we live in, that takes resources, that takes capital. Okay. So money and mission are very, very important to me. So those are two of the biggest things for running a sustainable business that lasts a very long time. All right. So create a powerful CEO vision, which we did yesterday, merging your financial aspirations with your core mission. This alignment ensures clarity in decision making and paves the way for sustainable growth, okay? Helping you achieve both monetary and personal fulfillment. All right. And if you have any questions, please pop them in the chat, y'all. Please don't, you don't have to wait. You can raise your hand, you can pop right in. This is like such a small, intimate group. I want us to feel like we can ask me questions. All right. Protect your vision with systems, all right? Establish systems for sustainable success. Implementing effective systems is crucial for safeguarding your vision, all right? By creating structured processes, not only do you enhance productivity, but you also will ensure your mission aligns with your daily actions, all right? So that's the one thing that I had to learn over time. Does this, one of my biggest questions to myself is always, does this align with the life that I'm trying to create? Does that choice align with the life that I'm trying to create? Okay. I ask myself that before I do pretty much, before I do a lot of different things. So even before I do things in the business, I'm asking myself, does this align with the kind of business I'm trying to create? So one great example is always like philosophy. Sometimes families will come to us that don't align with the philosophy or the values of what we do. And I'm very, very clear. So I have so many touch points in our handbooks, in our conversations, in the way that I post things that makes it really clear who we are. So a lot of times we kind of like, we kind of make sure that we attract families that are aligned with that vision of what we do. Because if there is an alignment, then we're going to recognize that really, really quickly. And those families don't stay, which makes total sense. There's some families that come in that aren't 100% aligned, but they understand it and they get it, and they kind of shift as they come in. And that's a beautiful thing too, because they have the desire to. So making sure that in all of our touch points, our systems and our philosophy is in every single touch point. Our enrollment system is very, very clear. Everything is very, very clear. Our social media is very, very clear on who we are and where we stand all the time. And just today, some of y'all saw I had to do a reintroduction post because I'm very, very clear about who we are and where we stand, and very, very values driven. That's a part of our system that makes sure that families who come to us are not surprised when, you know what I mean, a month comes up and we're doing Hispanic Heritage Month, because that's who we are, because we value, you know what I mean, like diverse perspectives and things like that. So we always make sure that we're very, very clear in all of our systems that matches. All right. I'll talk more about that. I don't want to get too bogged down with just the information. This is kind of the why. So I'm about to give you the how as well. All right. Okay, but systems matter. It gives you predictability, higher, it makes sure that you shift into higher value tasks as well. And I'm going to show you with mine. Okay. And then that means that you can multiply your money, because you could actually be spending your time generating revenue that is more aligned with what you're trying to do. All right. All right, so this is one of my favorite systems, and something that I've actually been using since I started homeschooling a decade ago is a weekly planning ritual, but not just any weekly planning ritual. I think that most of us have like a lesson plan, or we have a portfolio, we have things like that. This is my CEO weekly planning ritual, all right? So I'm gonna optimize time with a structured approach today. For me, spending just 1 hour a week doing like dedicated, sometimes even 30 minutes of dedicated, real good planning allows me to reflect on the previous week, set my big three intentions for the week, and align my vision. All right. This practice not only streamlines my tasks, but also saves me 5 hours each week of productivity. If you are already doing this, or if you already have like a CEO weekly time, drop it in the chat. Let me know what you do or how you do it. I would love to hear other people's thoughts on it. I'm going to show you my method though, and it also has a worksheet that goes with it, so you can go ahead and align this to yours. All right. But some of the key things, there's some things that I've added to make sure that it really comes from a CEO standpoint. All right. A powerful method. So the scale framework is my basically my weekly planning method. All right, it's a powerful method for systematic success. The scale framework helps streamline your processes to maximize efficiency by scanning your current methods, choosing the right tools, aligning tasks with your vision, listing actionable items, and entering them into your workflow. You gain clarity and freedom. All right. Right. So here's how my scale planning works. So it's in the acronym of scale to help you remember. So first, I scan last week. What were my wins? What were my lessons? I reflect on it. I scan last week. I check through my calendar. I see what happened last week, and it also helps me to not feel like I'm. It also helps me to feel like I'm accomplishing things, because I think that as overachievers, as type A people, as ambitious educators, a lot of times we don't realize everything that we did. So by me scanning last week, it also makes me feel really good about myself. Like, oh, I did that thing last week. You know, it's really cool to see, did I hit the goals that I wanted to hit? And usually I hit those goals plus more. So it kind of helps me to celebrate myself a little bit too. Um, but if you haven't already started this, then you probably don't have a week last week to scan, and that's why it's helpful for you to get this worksheet and start, either print the worksheet out or just start typing into the worksheet every week what you did, and then next week you can look back on the worksheet and say, oh yes, I accomplished those things that I was looking to do, and then you could feel good. I love crossing things off. I love checking things off lists. If you're anything like me, then you get where I'm coming from. All right, so then for C, I choose my big three priorities. Okay, big three priorities, like, and this is all to do with my business. Usually, what are my big three priorities this week to do with the business? Sometimes it's like, one of my big ones that I just finally got done was write 20 emails for me to kind of like put into my funnel, for me to put into my email messaging program. That was something that took me a little bit of while. It took me about 2 weeks to really get that done, but it really felt good. It was one of my big priorities for a few weeks. So that was necessary, and that's pushed us forward in a way that I didn't really expect it to. More people are reaching out. People like that daily newsletter kind of thing. So that was one of my big three priorities, and it got done. Align with your long-term vision. Is that something that kind of goes towards my long-term vision? So my long-term vision right now is building out the Scale Mastermind and making sure that it brings people in. It absolutely does. So that's one of my big three. So if you're thinking, okay, I want to start a school, for example, and I want the school to be able to start next year, or I want to get, let's say, 15 more kids into my school by next year or something like that. You can break that down into 12 weeks and say, each week that means that one of my big priorities is basically like putting out social media that's going to attract more people, or it's sending out emails to more people, or it is actually like asking people, families, for testimonials, and that's going to get the ball rolling. Ask for referrals from families. Those are your kind of like, if that's your big goal, then you can break it down and say, this is something that's going to help me with my weekly things that I want to do. Okay. Those are your big three priorities. Okay. And I align it with my long-term vision. My long-term vision, I know, is to build out scale and also to help other people start micro schools. So I know this aligns with my long-term vision. All right. But if it's something like, and I know everything can align, but I usually try to, it's like, pick the right answer. So for example, I created a GPT that helps people to learn how to start a micro school, right? That took me like 2 hours. And even when I was about to start doing it, I was like, does this really align with the long-term vision of what I'm creating with Kime right now? And when I say long-term, I'm thinking like a year out. And not so much. And then I had to decide, do I want to spend the time doing it for fun, or am I spending the time doing it because it aligns? And I can make that decision. Sometimes for fun, that's a part of the vision I'm trying to create too. It brought me joy. But there's other things that I've said, okay, this is not really like, I'm tripping right now. Like, this is obviously not something that I really should be spending my time doing. I'm not really going to want to continue doing this. Does this align? It does not. Let me go ahead, list what to delegate or what to drop. So that's another thing. So, even though I choose my big three priorities, usually I have to brainstorm before that, right? After I brainstorm. So, for example, I know that I don't really care to do certain admin things. And usually at that point, I look at my list of things and I go, oh, can I delegate this to somebody? For example, my accountant. I know that I did not want to do our nonprofit like accounting. And I was like, I might as well just go ahead and start paying somebody to do that because I don't want to do that anymore. So we're at the point now where it's like, okay, let me delegate that out. Okay. I know I have to do my taxes this week. I don't want to do them. Let me go ahead and find my accountant and ask my accountant to take care of that. Okay. Switching our nonprofit and adding an LLC to it, things like that. I don't want to do that. Let me reach out to the lawyer so that the lawyer can do that. And I know that sounds like big names, but it could be something simple like, hey, I didn't want to organize my folders in my Google Drive, and I have an amazing person that can do that. Let me go ahead and ask that. Let me go ahead and ask that person. It could be asking for trading somebody. Like if you're in a smaller school or in a smaller setting, you could say, hey, like I really don't want to do like cut these things up that I'm going to need to prep for the school this week. Can I ask my son to do that? You know what I mean? Like, can I give him $5 to vacuum my floor? Things like that, like things that are bothering me. How can I delegate those things out? And then I enter the things that I'm actually going to be doing into my calendar. I block off time on my calendar to actually do them, or because sometimes I do not like to write things. Sometimes I do not like to put things into my electronic calendar. Sometimes I literally just write them down for now until I can get to my Google Calendar or whatever it is. And then I know, hey, I'm going to spend 2 hours on Monday doing that. On Wednesday, I'm going to spend, but I do need to look at my calendar, whether it's paper or whether it's not, to see where other things line up to make sure that I am putting them in places that I'm going to be able to do it. Like, let's be realistic when we do this. Okay. All right. Let's take a look. So I already said that. So this kind of breaks down exactly how to do that. Review your wins, what worked, what didn't for scan. Pick the 3 most important outcomes for the week. At least one should be a money generating activity. So that's another thing that I want to point out really, really clearly. When we are picking our priorities, and this is something I sometimes forget to do as well. Sometimes when we're picking our priorities, we're picking things that are not money generating. And when things are not money generating, they're longer term money generating, but I mean immediately. What's something that's actually going to get some money into the door? And I know for me, usually it's like sending out emails to very warm leads, sending out emails to very warm clients. For example, like 2 of our students, like if we want to add 2 more students to our roster, that means that I need to start reaching out to our waiting list. And I know that's a money generating activity usually. Or I know that I can create a curriculum, a lesson plan, and I know that I can make some extra money on that. Is usually something that if I really need to do like a cash injection, something very quickly, that's my money generating activity. So that's kind of what that's usually the way I do it. Hey, Caitlin. Yay. Okay. So that's very cool. All right. So those are some of my money generating activities. All right. Back to it. I was looking to see if anybody had like any questions in chat. Please let me know if you do. I'm here to answer them. List what to delegate or drop. Let's see if there's anything else. Identify tasks that don't belong on your plate. So there's always going to be things that don't belong on your plate anymore. I think especially as women, as mothers, a lot of times we feel like we have to take everything on our plate, but we have to get comfortable with going to our children, to our significant others, to everybody else. We have to get comfortable saying, this is not something I really have to do anymore. I'll tell you something I delegated recently with my own kids personally is shopping, right? They're like, I've become their personal grocery list. Mom, we need this. Mom, we need that. I was like, you know what? Y'all, here we go. Here's the Walmart app. We always have things delivered usually by Tuesday or Wednesday of each week. Go ahead and write what you need in the Walmart app. Go ahead and you go into the Walmart app and you add it to the grocery list. That way when it's time to order, I just scan back through it. I make sure it's not crazy. This week I didn't make sure it wasn't that crazy. We have barbecue. We have 3 bottles of barbecue sauce right now. But the point is that they didn't have to ask me to do that. They just went in, they added the barbecue sauce. I forgot to scan through it completely, but it makes my life so much easier because I'm not constantly trying to hold in my brain that I'm trying to, I'm trying to change the world, y'all, through education. I can't sit here and remember what we need grocery wise when they can look in the fridge as big kids and go, oh, we're out of butter. I know I just finished butter. It's their responsibility now to go into the app, add butter to the shopping list, and I know that it's there, okay, to not have to think about it anymore. So that's something really cool that I feel like helps a lot. All right, enter it into your calendar. Block the time off. We have to actually block the time off on our calendar, or at least write down where we're going to be blocking the time off. That way we actually get to it. It becomes a goal. A goal without a plan is just a wish. well, by putting it down into our calendar, we know that we're protecting our CEO time, which is like money, systems, and leadership. Like it's sacred, okay? So schedule your personal priorities too. Another thing that I do sometimes is I put in like actually when I'm going to rest. I haven't been keeping up with that as much, and I've been feeling slightly burned out. And this week, I'm going to make sure that I'm putting in my rest time in here as well. Or sometimes I'm just like, whatever it is, can wait a little bit, and I'm going to rest, and then I'm going to get back, and I may even like push it back a little bit during the week, but I know that it's there to be done. All right. All right, so that is my scale framework. There is a worksheet that goes along with that in the homework. Let me go ahead and see if I can actually bring it up. I think we can all see that now. Yesterday we did some things. Today we are moving into day 2 of the workbook. So these are the pages of the workbook. You can put notes about what you're learning as you go along, but this is the scale framework right here for you. These are some takeaway. You can take some more notes, but I also added another page that will tell you exactly how to do the scale setup that I just worked through with you. So you can do that yourself. The big things that I think that a lot of educators, especially like we know how to lesson plan, we know how to annual plan, we usually know how to do all that stuff, but we don't know how to make sure that it protects our leadership time, and we don't know how to make sure that it is money generating activities. And those are the big things that we want to make sure, or that is moving aligned with our long-term vision. We want to make sure that it is aligned with our long-term vision of what we're trying to create, instead of these little things that may not really move the needle. We want to make sure it's things that are actually going to move the needle. Okay. All right. So I think that kind of answers all of that. Now, if that is not really, I was like, this is a big deal for me. And that saves me a ton of time because I'm not getting bogged down in the tiny little things that add up. Those things really add up. But there are other things that have saved me time. And so I'm going to give you some bonus things that have saved me a ton of time throughout the years. Okay. And some of the big ones, time saving systems. So let's unlock efficiency through automation and delegation. So automation is one of my favorite things. If you guys have, whenever you sign up for anything on my thing, on my, like the event, you see you automatically got an email that lets you know that you're signed up and here's the link, etc. Right? That's an automation. All right. That is a way that the computer automatically, the program that I use, make sure that once I put in the event, that you get an email the moment, and you usually should get an email half an hour before the session as well. That's another automation that I set up during the last time. That means I basically went in the beginning of, at first, I scheduled out 5 emails to go out every single day. And that way you were aware of what was happening every single day. All right. So I try to make sure that anything I can automate like that, I'm going to try to do as much as possible. I've automated all my emails for the month, generally speaking. That's something else that I love to do. It's like creating batch content. A lot of people talk about creating something batch. Is really, really great. I love automating things as much as possible. There's things like Zapier that allow you to do it, and it might look tricky. I use Wix website, so I'm constantly, Wix has automations, kind of like Zaps, that allows me to put things in and it automatically. If somebody signs up for I have a Calendly. Somebody signs up for a books a call with me, they immediately get an email. On the email, it says add it to your calendar. They add it to their calendar. They get a reminder before the session. I don't have to think about who's coming or when or anything, or sending them an email to remind them, because I can't remember that stuff. So that makes total sense for you to automate as much as possible. Now with AI, it's even easier. You do have to learn some of the systems, but once you learn it and you implement it, it's so amazing. Okay. Delegation, like I said, super, super, super important. We need to delegate, y'all. Most of us are like, we're in our big, big age and we know how to do things. At this point, we're like usually ahead of a lot of our younger folks that are just kind of getting started. We can delegate to some of those younger folks so we can teach them. A lot of times I'm like, hey, like even with one of my lovely Danielle, I'm like, hey, like, like we can delegate that out a little bit. Like you don't have to do that anymore. Like other people can kind of do some of that stuff that you're still kind of doing, that you really have been doing now for a while. Other people can learn how to do that. Let's ask somebody else to write the newsletter. Let's ask somebody else to kind of send the emails, or let's ask parents, or whatever we can delegate and get a team effort going is super important for me. So I try to delegate as much as possible. And sometimes I'm like, I'm the only one that can do it this way. No, I'm not. I'm usually not the only one. I created systems. My systems are there. Sometimes I need to check and make sure that everybody's following the system. But generally speaking, most people can do exactly what I'm doing, as long as I have really great frameworks and systems in place. And that's why it's so important to spend your time building those systems, so that when you're ready, or you're tired, or you're kind of starting to think about retirement, all of your systems are already in place for somebody else to do. All right. Let's see. I felt like I had like two more for you guys. So automation, delegation are big ones. Remember, as we conclude, and remember our systems equal freedom, utilize the scale framework to design your personalized program. Start small, implement changes gradually, and don't forget to share your progress within the group. I think the other one was onboarding, and I think I even said it here. Onboarding is a big one. Onboarding families, I definitely make sure I have a process for that. We have like a 4-step, 5-step process for onboarding families. They immediately get once they do the application, they get an email right away. The email says, hey, book a tour. After they book a tour, they come in, then we schedule a demo day. After the demo day, then they do this. So I have a step, but I've also added that to staff. So staff, the moment that they're onboarded, they get a request from Homebase. Homebase adds them to the program, and it's kind of like a step by step by step. But that way, I don't have to completely reinvent the wheel. We have templates. Hey, every time that happened, this is the email that goes out to the person. This is the script that's said to the person once this person signs up for this. And we have templates for all of that stuff. And that makes it so that I don't have to think, and my words are being used. Like everything is kind of like my brain has been written down. So I feel like that's really, really helpful. And then the same thing goes with so staff, families, onboarding, enrollment, all of that stuff has a back end system that allows me to not have to think about them. So that really, really, really helps. And you can start with one thing. Don't feel like you need to do all this stuff at once. I've been building Kind now for over a decade. So a lot of this stuff, I redid it. I would say start small. I would say start with like one thing that's bothering you, one thing that's taking time off of your list to make sure, oh, I'm still on this page. Okay, so take like one thing off of your list. And I think I have it here. If you're looking, think about your pain point, right? So, where do you lose the most time? Chasing payments, answering repetitive questions. There are so many things. So, if you're chasing payments all the time, automate ProCare. I love my ProCare, but automate invoices, even if you use QuickBooks or whatever it is. Like Zelle payments are not the vibe anymore unless they put it on automated and they pay you automatically every month, right? That's like not my favorite thing at all. But at least automatic invoices so that parents have to pay every single month, or automatic invoices. So if you have clients that they're paying every single month on time or every week or whatever it is, but you should not be still chasing payments. Now, don't judge me. We still chase payments because we have families that are under the PEP scholarship. And the PEP scholarship, of course, they need to go in and they need to request it. So if you're not a private school, they need to go in and request it. So that's a little bit of a pain, but there's no way to automate that. But we're constantly sending emails to remind them. So, but when it comes to chasing cash payments, you shouldn't be doing that anymore. There's too many programs that allow you to do that. Okay. Answering repetitive questions. So a lot of times I have an FAQ, that a document that answers all those questions for them right away. They may still ask. You could even now create chatbots that answer all those questions for people. On our Wix website, it already has an automatic chatbot that will talk to you, things like that. But repetitive questions, there should be a document already with like the questions that you get all the time. And you can just copy and paste answers. And that way you can answer those questions really quickly, really easily, or just have somebody else copy and paste those answers into whatever answers when families ask they need. All right. Recreating resources. This is one that's really hard for me because I recreate resources all the time, but I've gotten really good at putting things into a folder. Put it into a folder, and then I do what I call a base camp, where I'll have a list of all my folders so I know where to find everything. And that has been life saving for me this year, especially. Everything's in a folder now, and I know where everything is. And that's hard for a lot of people, especially when your brain is all over the place. But the moment that I write something, I just move it right away to that folder, move it right away to the folder. I don't even give myself a chance to lose it. So then I go, I don't know where this is. And then I have to look for it. Doing everything yourself, is definitely time to delegate. If that's something that you're still doing, think about one thing that you can delegate, even if it's just one thing that you can delegate. One thing I won't like, I do sometimes have somebody come in and clean my house, but I don't really love people in my house all the time. So I'd rather clean my house myself sometimes, at least, and delegate something else out to somebody else. All right. Or if it's something else, like if you need ideas, then please let me know. And that's what I'm going to ask you right now. Where are you losing the most time? I'm going to ask in the chat, where are you losing the most time? Where is everyone losing the most time on which of these: chasing payments, answering repetitive questions, recreating resources, or is it like your time in general, doing everything yourself? Like, where do you feel like you're losing the most time? Because we can think about systems for that specifically, if that's the case. But then, so your pain point, what's your pain point, right? And then you can talk about like what you can automate or how to automate or delegate it. All right. And then that is going to be pretty much it. But I would love to hear what everyone's pain point is. If you want, drop it in the chat. If you want, drop it in the group and I'll get to it when I can. If you can't, if you don't have it there now. Hey, Aisha, yes. All right. You are very welcome. I'm so glad. All right. Love it, love it, love it. All right. Is anyone, doing everything yourself? That's such a hard one. Do you think you can commit to delegating at least one thing this week, Fallon? I'm gonna stop my sharing. Come on. Like, yay. Do you think you can delegate one thing this week? Do you want a hot seat coach really quick and talk through it? Or is there anything that you know in your mind what you need to delegate?
I know in my mind what I need to delegate. I have systems in place, but doing everything by myself makes things hard because I'll start over here on one thing and then my brain will go over here to something else and then I'm just all over the place back at square one.
Of course, of course. So is it that you don't have anybody that you trust with it yet? Or is it just that you are just like, are you by yourself? Like you're the solopreneur right now?
Hmm.
Okay, is that
Yeah.
the big one? Okay.
Hmm.
So generally my solution for that is hire somebody. I know that's always scary because it's like I got the money, but it's shocking the difference of even if it's a parent that you can like tag in for 5 hours a week or a VA that you can get for 5 hours. Like 5 hours a week is like you could do that. You can sometimes get that for like $100 a month. You know what I mean? Like if you can teach them how to do it, spend 5 hours teaching somebody how to do it, that is going to multiply your time exponentially. And not just your time, but your brain power. And I don't know if I'm preaching to the, do you know all this? Like, are you like, I know? Or are you like, have you considered that? Like either
Yes,
getting bartering
I'm
or
I'm at that level because I do still have a full-time job and I train people in my full-time
right.
job to do their job. And so I had a realization the other day, like I'm doing this at my actual place of employment. Why can't I do it for myself? So I was thinking of reaching out to the community colleges to see if they have students that are interested in earning like intern hours and things of that nature to
Yeah.
potentially come work for me or get volunteer service hours or
Yeah,
something.
even virtually. Have you considered virtual? Because now it's like you have access. There's so many VAs now. Have you, do you, whatever you need, is it in person only or do you need?
I would prefer in person.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. Yeah, so yeah, you're thinking college student at that point, at least at the rate that I'm thinking. But at the same time, like you'd be surprised at if you open up 100, $150 a week, that it just changes things. And I always tell people you can start off small. Like I started off with, a package of hey, 10 hours, you know what I mean, a month or whatever it was. I just need like this thing done. And it just helps so much. So yeah, I totally understand that. But thank you for sharing that, Fallon. I feel you. I love when we have that realization, like I should not be doing this all myself. And I still got to remind, there's still moments where I'm like, what am I doing? Like there's still moments I'll preach about it all day long. I'm like, I'm getting bogged down again. I feel like I need to do everything myself. I'm calling the cleaning person. Like, this is a mess. I don't need to do this myself anymore. Like I can, invest in that because then not only, my brain opens up now. Like I can actually focus on creating content that I want to create. And that is not just time, it's energy. You know what I mean? So that's a big deal. But that is it, y'all. Thank you so much for coming. I don't think I have any other slides for anyone. But hold on one more second. Let me see if there's a last little thing that I may have forgotten. But we talked about time saving, and now we're moving into recap. Don't forget to create your systems. And then, yep, I'm on the last page. So thank you so much for coming today, y'all. You know that I have that scale program. I'm so excited to invite some of you into it if you feel like you're ready for the next level. And thank you so much for coming. Bye, Fallon. Bye, Arel. Bye, everyone. Bye, Caitlin. Thank you for coming, y'all. Thank you so much, y'all. Yay.